What's up with it, man? Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment here again with another one. Hit the like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notification so that you're able to get all of my content and all of my videos. Now, LeBron had suffered a an excruciating injury uh, in the loss last night to the New Orleans Pelicans, a game in which I actually thought that they pretty much had the game, uh, but they ended up losing 108 to 116. Okay, now although LeBron he he scored 39, 5 and 9 and everything. Listen, this right here is evident of the fact that they have he's been doing overexertion, and as well as it has to do with him being exhausted. You know, um, he's not a young man anymore. You know what I'm saying? He's not no spring chicken by any means. Yeah, the dunk was cool and all that other stuff, but when you have different parts of your body, such as the knee issues, stuff like that, and especially at this older age and running the miles that you're running, because I mean he played the most minutes on the floor, which was at 42. This is what's going to happen. And now he's saying that the ankle felt horrible. Uh, the Lakers season is over. Okay, um, they're in the 10th spot right now. Uh, it's just my opinion. I feel like it is over. Uh, to say that they're gonna, just turn around. What's up with it, True Viking? I see you in the building. What's up with it, Mike? To say that they're just gonna turn it around and they're just gonna automatically just, win the championship and leapfrog everybody, that's not happening. Okay, and we got to be real with ourselves. And there were a lot of people that had a lot of faith and thought that something, magical was going to take place and everything. But it's over for them. And even you have to look at it from this standpoint too. Even when other teams have suffered many injuries or uh, trials and tribulations that have taken place on their team, guess what? They have still been able to uphold everything. I could give you I could give you several examples of that right now. Let's case in point, let's state the obvious, such as the Ja Morant situation, right? That team has been able to win, and they're beating good teams, and they beat them without John Morant, even with him having injuries. Then also, let's take into account, Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns, well-oiled machines, still been able to get it done despite having not having CP3, despite not having Devin Booker. And then they beat us. They beat the Sixers without the likes of JaVale McGee. So you got to look at it from that standpoint. Even Boston, you know, they've had people that have been in and out or whatever, and they've still been able to uphold a pretty decent record. Golden State, not so not so much. I mean, they've had some wins. They got a quality win against Miami. The only thing I think that you could really speak in terms of Golden State is the fact that they're still second in defensive efficiency. However, having said all of that, the Lakers have not proven that they've been able to do that. Now Dallas too. You got to look at Dallas, who they're facing next. They have not had Tim Hardaway Jr., but Luca has been able to play at a whole nother level. All these teams that I'm mentioning, they've been able to play despite not having a lot of people. And the Lakers, I know people they're gonna come with, well, they haven't had AD. Well, you should have expected that with AD. You should have known what comes with it. You should have known that this was a guy that wasn't durable. That's every time he turn around, he's gonna get hurt. And now you got LeBron just slowly breaking down. And I know people are gonna try to argue that, but I mean his body is breaking down now. Is he doing better than most? Absolutely, he's doing better than most in terms of I'm saying in terms of how his body is and becoming the first to score this amount of points at the age that he's at. However, when you overexert yourself and when you constantly put the pedal to the metal like that at your later stages of your career, you're gonna be you're gonna experience overexhaustion. You know, uh, now I know that he's on pace to try to get the record and everything like that. But right now, I mean, you should really be concerned. First and foremost, you need to be concerned about where your team is at, rather than trying to get a record or whatever. There's probably going to be people that are going to talk about this time, and they're going to say, "Well, he got the record and everything. They still had a losing season or whatnot." Some people may take it serious, some people may not. But I'm of the mindset of, okay, what are you going to do to benefit your team? What needs to be done in order for you to stay healthy, to be durable and stuff. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they don't want to see that, especially like a lot of psychotic LeBron fans. It's one thing to be a fan, but it's one thing. It's another thing to be a fanatic and an absolute fanboy, or a guy that you worship, especially when you've never even met him, never even sat down, have a conversation with him, never even rubbed elbows with him, so to speak. Don't even know the guy from Adam, but yet and still you want to come to the defense of this guy, like you willing to you know go to battle or go to war over this guy. You know, and that's not something that I'm fitting to do. Not over here. What I'm going to tell you is like, look, am I going to disrespect? Am I going to disrespect LeBron at the level that some guys do? No, I'm not. But I am going to tell you the fact of the matter is that he's wearing himself out and it's doing damage to his team. And on top of that, uh, while you're getting all these points and you're doing all this stuff, it's still not impactful. Matter of fact, they had control of the game from what I saw at one point. But guess what? You know, it it uh caused them to lose. You know, by you wanting to do so much, you still have a team out there that could really benefit. And then also another point that I want to make too. Everybody gets upset when I say this. I really don't care how you feel about it, because listen, I'm not one of the ones to disrespect LeBron at that level like some other guys do. But listen, I'm gonna tell you like this: they play better without LeBron being on the floor, because and I've said that about Joel Embiid. I've said that about Harden on my team. You have to look at that. But they're gonna be like, oh well, look at it, look at him. He's able to do this, he's able to do that on the floor. Yeah, but it's taken away from your team. It'd be different if we were talking about another superstar that didn't care about points, that didn't care about their statistics or any of that other stuff, or their numbers. Then we'd be having a different argument. But if you come to me and you say, okay, well look what he's doing individual wise, okay, yeah, that's fine. But what is your team doing? Like, and they still want to continuously talk about it. What's up with it, Stephen Green? I see you in the building. You said salute the crew. I see King James skills are slowly decreasing. Not to play he used to. I don't see King James ending his career as a Laker. Well, look, it's not really a matter of where he's going to end up, in terms of his career or anything like that. We got to be honest with ourselves, and we got to say, you know, what what are you going to do going forward in terms of in terms of you putting your body on the line just to get a record? Listen, Karl Malone was trying his best to get Kareem's record, but guess what? He knew that he couldn't do it. And on top of that, Karl Malone was very durable. He was an Iron Man, much like LeBron is. I give him props for being an Iron Man. And if you say that LeBron is not an Iron Man, then something's wrong with you because he's rarely had injuries. He's he's experienced within the last couple of years. He's experienced the most injuries that he's ever had in his entire 19-year career. You know, you gotta scale back. If you do more harm to your team, and I know that the Lakers were up during that point in time when he had got hurt, and some people are going to be like, well, your argument is dead because he had got hurt, and then next thing you know, I don't want to hear none of that because you put your team in a real messed up position when you're out here trying to overexert yourself to play points. Prime example is Joel Embiid. if if Joel Embiid focused on other aspects of his game other than scoring, or if Harden focused on other aspects of the game other than scoring, I guarantee you those the team would be much better. That's why, like, when he played against Aiden yesterday, guess what? Aiden didn't have that many points, but guess what? He was good in the rebounding category. He was good in the steals category, and he was good in the blocks category. And guess what? He was good in the win loss column. And guess what? He's 2-0 against Joel Embiid. That's something that he could say for the season. He's pretty much swept him. So I mean, we got to look at it from that standpoint. I don't look at things the way everybody does. Everybody likes to look at what this guy is doing statistically and all this other stuff. If you're doing great statistically and your team is winning, okay, then we can have a legitimate conversation. But if you're putting all these points up, they're not impactful, and you're doing damage to your team, and on top of that, your team does even greater. They play more freely when you're not out there, then what does that say about you? And people get mad about that. They think that it's disrespectful and all this other stuff. I've said the same thing about Joel Embiid. I've said the same thing about about Harden. You know, some people will try to argue about a guy like John Moran. But the difference between John Moran is he's not concerned about how many points he got. He's not concerned about the MVP. He ain't concerned about no statistics. John Morant wants to win. He wants to win, man, and he wants to win at all costs. And you could tell in his body language. So that's why I tell people let's go ahead and let's get back to basketball. But everybody's focused on one thing. They focus on him getting the record and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I blame some of y'all for trying to put the pressure. Oh, will he get the record? Da 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 da. How long will he get it? Look, Lakers fan, honestly, right now they could care less about the damn record. LeBron fans probably care about him getting the record and everything, but true Lakers fans, they want they want the motherfucker to actually lead the Lakers to victory. to a championship at least, or at least going far in the playoffs or whatever. I think people would have more respect for you if you were focused on that aspect rather than focus on the scoring. If the scoring comes, the scoring comes. Last night, Kevin Durant, congratulations to him. He topped Reggie Miller, but Kevin Durant, he's not. That's not his primary focus. I think his focus is trying to will Brooklyn to victory. He hears everything that we're saying about Brooklyn. But I blame some of the people, that want to try to put pressure on a guy like, KD, or a guy like Kyrie, and that's what comes with it. But at the same token, we don't know if you're a true or I'm sorry, Brooklyn Nets fan. We don't know if you're a true Lakers fan. We don't know if you're a true Golden State fan. Just like Raw had talked about. Shout out to Raw. He had mentioned that a lot of the guys that used to be Golden State fans, now that they haven't won the championship in a couple of years, or did tend to fall off or whatever, then okay, they kind of quiet. It shouldn't even be like that. I was a six. Listen, like myself, I'm a Sixers fan before before James Harden and before Joel Embiid, and I'll be a Sixers fan after that. I was a Sixers fan before AI, even though it got amplified when AI had came. You know, we got to look at it from that standpoint. A lot of people want to see him down. A lot of people want to see LeBron down. To be honest with you, I don't want to see LeBron down like this. I hate for guys to experience injuries. I hate for guys to even end their career on a bad note like this. Some people are like, well, what do you mean? He's an MVP candidate. Not an MVP candidate. Not an MVP candidate. Okay. Uh, I think Kareem he won an MVP when they were 40 and 42. Their record is way worse than that. And then on top of that, Kareem didn't have hardly anybody on his squad. So we got to look at it. We got to look at it from that standpoint. But if you're a person, if you are an evil person saying, oh, okay, yeah, well, I'm glad he's hurt and he's he's down and all this other stuff, you got issues. And if you think that I'm gonna come on here and say something like that, nah. If anything, you should be happy that I'm trying to get the guy to focus more on the intangibles, even at this later stage of your career. There were guys that focused on the intangibles. Wilt Chamberlain, he focused on the intangibles once he got older. Dennis, Dennis Rodman still was, even though he was always focused on the intangible. He said the Lakers are trash. Well, I mean, hey, look, they could. I'm gonna put it to you like this. I don't want to hear any of this like, okay, yeah, they're old or anything like that. That's what I was telling True to King yesterday. What's up with it, Jason Murph? I see you. What's up, King? I see you. Big Who, I see you in the building. Okay, look, I don't want to hear any of this stuff about, oh yeah, they're old and all this other stuff, because as I've said before, they're not the oldest team. Okay, there have been older teams that have been able to go on and win championships and still get it done. Even as old as the Spurs were, guess what? They still play. They were solid defensively when they had Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan and those guys. Even when the uh, the Dallas Mavericks they had won, they still were able to get it done even at their elder age. Okay, I mean, we got to stop saying, okay, yeah, they're trash because they're old, making all these different excuses. Listen, you could come with 1,000 excuses as to why they're not winning or whatever. But plain and simple, the good teams that were older, that were past their primes, guess what? They were like how the young teams are playing right now, right? No egos. They were sharing the ball and they understand everything. What's up with it, Jacob? I see you in the building. So, I mean, there's really not much that can be said except he's got to stop overexerting himself. And see, I'm not gonna sit up here. Well, look what he's doing. Look, fascinated by that because you're putting more stress. Believe it or not, you put more stress on your body when you do that. Look, he's still at the end of the day, he's still a human being, man. I think if Anthony Davis uh, stay healthy, they are a playoff team. That's not gonna happen. Okay, even if Anthony Davis was healthy, it's still not gonna happen, man. They weren't they weren't that great with Anthony Davis. Okay, so you saying that? Listen, you act like Anthony Davis is such a difference maker, with the stuff that he's been doing. Listen, when Anthony Davis is out there, guess what? You gotta brace yourself because guess what? He still ends up falling. He still ends up going on the ground, saying this is hurting, saying that is hurting, and stuff like that. That takes away from your team too. That takes away from your team too. Right. So y'all let me know what you think. Leave your comments, like the video, share it, subscribe, hit them notifications. Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. I'll get at you later.